Hello, everybody. What is happening? Ugh. How are we all? How are you doing? It's good to see you all. Abul, good to see ya. Bit more hype, bit more spirit in the show tonight. Obviously, top man, top man. Obviously, people are still running at fever pitch about yesterday. We don't have to rehash yesterday, which is a good thing. But what I will say is social media is becoming quite a weird situation right now with obviously yesterday's big news. And I'm glad I'm avoiding most of it as best I can. As best I can. But it's that fever pitch. So we don't have to talk about yesterday in that manner. We're going to talk about last night. So we certainly have a lot to do. And Maria in the chat, Abul, Bleach, Zodiac, all present and correct. We certainly have a fun show, and this is Friday Night Reece. Dare I say, Friday Night Fun Time. Yeah, there's actually a lot of YouTubers that I respect that are making weird videos. People are saying they're not making tributes, they're making tributes, then they're shitting on people who are making tributes, then they're saying, well, actually, is it right? Is it not? No, not really. It's strange. So I've done my thing, I did the right thing, and I've moved on. But the right thing in my mind. It might be wrong to others because obviously they feel like, well, why should I be doing that? Well, if I didn't, I would get a lot of shit for it. And if I did do it, I would still get a lot of shit. So I'm in a no-win situation. You know? So it's not what YouTube decides, it's just people deciding. And they're doing it through their YouTube platforms, which isn't helpful. And for me, it's not about winning or losing, but I appreciate you, Zodiac. Thank you. It's certainly a challenge. Um, I'm not one for. I'm not one for how do things go around here, but I'm not a fan of certain platforms are now saying, well, actually, I'm going to show you, all right? Because quite frankly, I don't know how to react. And for some reason, I keep getting signed out on this damn thing. National Hot Fudge Day. Nice. This keeps signing me out, and I'm getting sick of it. I need to find a way to get my PC to stop signing me out with YouTube and StreamYard and stop signing me out with Twitter on my PC. I'm actually getting really sick of it. it's becoming a major problem. I'm not getting any of that, mate. It just signs me out straight away. Everything. And I honestly do not know why. I don't know if it's Microsoft Edge, if that's the problem, but I need to figure it out. Good idea. To be fair, I've just taken off X as a platform off my... I've just installed it as an app, so it'll probably keep signing me out on this app anyway, but at least I've got it on my taskbar now. I have, yeah. I just don't know why it keeps doing it. I'll deal with it though. Anyway, what I was looking for. Let me see if I can find it. Are you serious? Jesus Christ. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna use Chrome. Actually, you know what's the matter right now? I'm gonna install Chrome whilst I'm sitting here. Hold on. Well, the funny thing is, it was, but I feel like people are just gonna use it by any means as a... I feel like using things as a weapon doesn't help. Well, I know Catherine's gonna get excited by that, you sick bitch. Catherine is pure evil. Okay, that seemed to have worked, but I doubt it's gonna change. What about this one? Good. There are women's factions. Fatal Influence aren't that good. Okay. Most likely. Yes. Two seconds. Ichigo would lose to Madara, but Ichigo would give Naruto a run for his money. Aizen and Ichigo would actually go quite well. But I'm actually confident they would go close. That looks slightly better. Yeah, they had them win, but that's because of the writing concept. The actual characters themselves would do a lot better. Bear in mind, biased writing doesn't help. Like, biased writing goes a long way. Much better. Much better. Looks like Wrestle Purists are live as well. They're doing their fucking Hogan tribute. Anyway, what was I looking? I was looking for something specific before we crack on. There hasn't been a great women's faction since the Beautiful People, and I will die on that hill. What do you guys think of this? I love Velvet Sky. She was top tier. Yeah. Tell me what you think of this. It's not a bad idea, Bleach. This is what I'm looking for. Thekla is awesome. Like, plain and simple, she is awesome. I know you'd think that, Abel. Here's the thing. And I get where Now I get what Zodiac is saying. Hogan is the fourth. For me, all day, any day, Bret Hart is on my Mount Rushmore. And Bret is on my Mount Rushmore. What I don't like, however, is people use any situation they can to point score. I did, yes, I saw it. It was a good interview. Now, let me just take myself off screen for a minute, okay? Because you guys know me, I don't like people use certain conversations for point scoring. It doesn't do me any favors. I'm not a fan of it. It's ridiculous. So this was WrestleMania's post, right? And this was the question. Who is missing on the WWE Mount Rushmore? And this was a top comment. And this was WrestleMania's response. You guys need to stop acting like Hogan is on top of WWE's Mount Rushmore. You make asses out of yourselves. Every day you try to gaslight yourself into denial. And then obviously they respond saying, I don't put outright racist on my Mount Rushmore. Hope this helps. To which point Society Reviews has this as a quote tweet. Obviously, that's typical honest fan about what Austin did, which is true. But then WrestleMania obviously posted about Hulk Hogan passing away. And then Society Review says this. Is that a means to point score? Yes. I feel like point scoring is never the answer, you know? Like, I get it. Like, I understand that people like to point score, but like, I don't. Like, for me, that just screams stupidity. Just the ones in hiding, yeah. The funny thing is, I look at reality of it, and if I'm being honest, if you ask me my WWE Mount Rushmore, I base it on a whole variety of things, all right? I don't just say, oh, it's this person because they're my favorite, or I mention this person because of what they did. No, if I'm doing a Mount Rushmore, I really need to think it through and be thorough. But I'm going to be honest, there's always one name I say on a Mount Rushmore in WWE that must always be there. And not many people are going to like this. But I think if you're doing a WWE Mount Rushmore, one name that must always remain the same is Vince McMahon. And people hate Vince McMahon for what he's done. But if you're doing a Mount Rushmore, there is no WWE without Vince McMahon. And then if you want to do that even further, you need to add in Hulk Hogan. But in reality concept, if I'm doing a Mount Rushmore, Andre's in my Mount Rushmore. Bret Hart's on my Mount Rushmore. Stone Cold. That's three names. The fourth one, I don't care. Yes, I saw AEW did no tribute, and I understand why. I get it. What's up, Nick? Good to see you. Actually, Nick, if you're not busy, you're more than welcome if you're at any time, by the way. Obviously, tonight I'm doing 2 reviews. Tomorrow is another 2-show review, which is fun, but obviously, wrestling fires in. I know a lot of people have HBK on a WWE Mount Rushmore. I don't. Taker, yeah. I think Rock's a competitive shout. Yes, he had 7 years at the top, but it's still 7 years where he still transcended the business. I think a Mount Rushmore is. It's not as easy, but it's as important. It doesn't, though. Like, if you actually look at this, truth be told, TBS and Time Warner can do a tribute to Hulk Hogan. That's okay, but AEW don't have to do it if they don't want to. Remember, Hulk Hogan has been banned from AEW since the company's inception. Like, he's been banned for what, the past 5.5, 6 years. There'll be talents that will recognize Hogan, and absolutely they will do that, but it doesn't necessarily mean they have to do it. If you tell them to do it, you're just adding to the issue, whereas Ric Flair wasn't banned from AEW. Like, it's a choice. For me, the Mount Rushmore of TNA is Kurt, AJ, Gail Kim, and Jeff Jarrett. Well, men or women, because you could also say beer money. Samoa Joe, he only had 3 years at the top at his best, and then after that it went downhill. Jeff Jarrett, absolutely. A lot of people are hating on him right now, but he deserves to be in that Mount Rushmore. Like, there. I think Hulk Hogan fans found the channel and got offended. Right, I get it. You're saying your point of view, but you are point scoring. You've done this before. And this is what I'm trying to tell you. If you point score, your argument is defeated. Yes, Ric Flair has done absolutely horrible things in life. No one is going to argue that with you. No one is going to argue that. I am never going to say no to that. But if you're trying to tell me that Hogan did not do horrible things, then I'm sorry, but you are on your point. You're off your head. Like, I'm sorry, but did Ric Flair ever disown his daughter for who she dated and then the culture that he was embodied in? No. Did he say it on national TV and then again in a national interview? By the way, his death is the 10th anniversary of his exact words. Like, truth be told, these are genuine facts. Hulk Hogan, the character, important to professional wrestling. The human being was an asshole. Like, Ric Flair, the wrestling character, larger than life, large to wrestling. The human being is an asshole. I've said it so many times before in this channel. If I repeat myself, I'm going to sound like another fucking broken record. So I'm going to say it one last time, and I'm never saying it again. The line after this is drawn. This is the last time, and then I'm going to send the link. The most successful people in the wrestling business, apart from a very rare few, are all assholes. Plain, simple fact. You want it in Italian? I'll help you with that. You want it in German? So be it. You want it in Japanese? Let's do it. But it's a plain and simple fact of life. The most successful people in the wrestling industry, apart from a very rare few, past, present, and in the future, are all assholes. You can still pay respect, but you've still got to acknowledge the truth. Hogan was never under contract with AEW. Tony Khan never considered bringing him in. He didn't want him anywhere near it. He kept him at arm's length. And also, Tony Khan, considering what had happened many years ago, he didn't want to offend anybody that was there. Yeah, Floyd Mayweather is an absolute asshole. Charitable to the least, but he is an asshole. If you want to go into another sport, Conor McGregor. Conor McGregor for the UFC. What's up, Nippon? Conor McGregor is a fucking bona fide asshole. But he still drew money in the UFC. He still made it a big time field fight. He's still an asshole. And it made you want him to get his head kicked in every single week. It's the same with Floyd Mayweather, even though the guy was untouchable. The guy's an asshole, but you want to see someone try and knock him out. Why do you think people celebrate so badly when Mike Tyson got knocked out? John Jones is worse than Conor McGregor in some elements, but they do bring in money. They'll never be as good a person as Khabib, but that is what they do. They still bring in money. That is a landmark moment, and it's true. The difference is, I'm not going to sit here and mince words. There you go, Nick. Guys, the guy who is about to join our channel is from, if you're across the pond, he's in your area. Very good wrestling content creator with his wife. Do give their channel a subscribe. Do check out their channels. They are live usually very late. Like they do reviews and previews, but they go late at nights. So if you're in America, for me, it's that length of time. So they'll be live before SmackDown. So and they do bring in great guests. Like I've said on here the channel before, like I've spoken to like some Mike Chioda, and I've spoken to the Brian Kendrick, which was last week, all because of Nick. Like that's the reality of it. Yes, it's bandable. I'm just saying a point. Just saying the truth. No one's disagreeing with this, so I don't know why you've got to continue with it. Like we've already said before, we already know why Ric Flair was brought in to AEW. Like it was a temporary arrangement because of one person retiring. The biggest star that Flair ever made was the guy that he was brought in for that sole reason. Like that's how it is. I don't agree with it. If you look back at the time, I never agreed with it, but understood it. I would be more concerned, if I were you, about what's going to happen tonight on SmackDown. I guarantee you tonight all over social media is going to be a bloodbath. I would be more concerned about that.
What's up,
Hey,
Reece?
yo. What's up, brother?
Nothing. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Ass off.
It's good to finally get you on here. Oh, hold on. Wrong one. Wrong button. That's the one I'm looking for. There we go. Better of a zoom in view for everybody. There we go. Straight in. What's up, Nick from Abul? Abul's very
Yeah,
he's
Bill.
on his energy pills. He's had a few blue chews. I like to wind up Abul. Abul's a good guy.
Well, listen,
But
with your background, it
oh yeah, for sure. For sure. You still live tonight?
yeah, we're live at 2 hours.
You are. Guys, if you haven't, really do check out Nick's channel. It is absolutely awesome. See, I knew I'd get a few reactions on it. I tell you, I think like, sometimes I just say whatever comes to mind. That was just quick instinct. But obviously, yourself, Nick, obviously, you've been a professional wrestling fan for many years. Obviously, it's what brought you and your wife, Nick, into it. Obviously, great channel. Any surprise guests tonight, or is it just simply back to standard procedure?
Tonight we're doing something a little different. I mean, we but the night with
You're cutting a little bit.
Is that better?
Yeah, that's better.
Yeah. No, tonight we're taking a little step back because with SummerSlam next week, we we always go big for the pay-per-views, PLEs. So I think tonight's just going to be a lot, and especially with with the Hogan news, we're doing a lot. Even though we're not the biggest Hogan fans by any stretch, we're going to do. I got to do something tonight. So a lot of the show is going to be Hulk Hogan oriented. I think we're doing trivia tonight, Hulk Hogan based trivia.
I think we know who wins that.
We'll see. Every week every time we do, we have someone new do it. Steven actually was 5 for 5 last week. Your last time we did it.
So was I. First time as well.
Hey, listen, we might have to go up to 10 questions at some point in time. I don't know. I have multiple challengers. I might do something where it's at some point in time where we just do a trivia show and like something like that. But we're actually going to do. I got to pull you in. We're going to do later this summer. It's going to be a standalone. I'm going to age myself here. When I was like 14, 15.
So 1988. I'm kidding.
Wow.
Mid 2000s. I'm gonna say respectfully.
Yeah, pretty close. Yeah. So what I was.
I'm gonna get a lot of shit in the chat now for saying 1988.
So when I was a teenager, I came up with this. Everyone does fantasy football, fantasy baseball, whatever.
Yeah.
And at the time, a friend of mine. He's actually. Do you listen or read WrestleView at all?
Yeah.
Do you know who Mike Tedesco is?
Yes, I do.
Mike Tedesco is a childhood friend of mine. He was actually at my wedding.
You're joking.
No, Mike Tedesco. I've been best friends with Mike since I was 14 years old.
You son of a bitch.
I didn't really realize Mike was that big of a deal.
Oh, Mike is definitely a big deal. If nobody knows who we're talking about, I'll show you in a second.
I think he's the editor of WrestleView.com.
He is. Let me see if I can get up on Twitter. 2 seconds, guys, and I'll show you because he does have an official Twitter account as well. I should.
He's Mikey T817 is his, I think.
Yeah.
Or Mike Tedesco Wrestle or something like that. But yeah, so I've known Mike for a long, long time. We went to high school. We graduated high school together. Did I get cut up? Oh, no, this is music.
No, you're fine. Yeah, you're fine. Aye.
So when we were in high school, Mike and I used to do a backyard wrestling together.
Same.
Yeah. But long story short, I came up with this concept because everyone was doing fantasy football in the early 2000s when that was first coming out. And I said, why don't we create fantasy wrestling? And
All right, yeah.
based off of, so not only obviously win losses, but moves. And like,
Okay.
whoever you name it, Samoa Joe hits a muscle buster, you get 10 points. He hits someone with a steel chair, you get 5 points. So you might lose the match, and lose 50 points, but you got 50 points in finishing moves. It's a hardcore match, whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm bringing that back later this summer. I don't know how we're going to do, but like just a fantasy wrestling draft. So it's draft your faction.
Nice.
You'll get five rounds. You get to pick 5 different, I'll call them entities. So you'll have two male wrestlers single, 2 female wrestlers single, and a tag team. And it's build your
Ooh.
faction. So I'm gonna have like four teams. So I might have you as your own team, or I might pair you with somebody. Nikki might have a partner, so maybe it depends. Nikki might pair with Steven or Lisa or something like that. So
I know Abel's going to come in the live chat and immediately say, "No, Nick, Reece stands alone." I know it's coming. It's going to come in the chat. Trust me, Abel's going to say it. Reece is a lone wolf.
I hear you. I'm trying to incorporate as many people as possible. So if we have,
I'm still in though. That sounds awesome. Like that sounds incredible.
Honestly, man, I want to find a way to do it if it wasn't so time consuming, because we used to do this, and Mike and I used to do the points, and it would take us forever.
Yeah,
like watching every match, like reversals and things like that. And well, was that an actual finisher? Did that hit?
Exactly. I think there's so much you can do for it, and in a way, I think that's definitely going to require like a lot of like spreadsheet stuff as well. That's huge. So we'll see how that goes. Yeah, Zodiac. Completely agree. Fantasy wrestling sounds badass. It's awesome. I don't know if you've been noticing, but we've been doing a lot on the channel. We've been doing like a concept about rebooking.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So we've done. Actually, I'll show you right now what we've done so far. We've rebooked WrestleMania 9. We rebooked The Undertaker 2007. We rebooked Kane's 2003 after the Unmasked. We've rebooked Jeff Hardy's Antichrist run.
How did you rebook Kane Unmasked? Because I'm bad with dates, like 04. How did you rebook that? Because I remember like the talk when he first unmasked was that he was, oh my god, he's so ugly, he's so by god ugly, and then it was gonna be, it was a psychological thing, and it was a psychological thing, which I love that idea. I'm
gonna show you. I'm gonna show you right now. So we also my man in chief Zodiac obviously did. He's had 2. He's had HBK after WrestleMania 14 if he wasn't injured, like the accident injury against Undertaker at the Royal Rumble. So we did that, and obviously we've done Taker 2001, and we rebooked Nakamura's first year on WWE main roster. We did Chris Jericho 2007-2010, and we've done the WCW Invasion storyline if we had all the pieces of the puzzle that we wanted. The TNA World Title scene in 2012, and we did Starrcade '97 completely.
You know, it's an interesting one. Just recency bias for me.
Yeah.
And I don't know what year. It might be 2020.
Go for it.
2020. Aleister Black. The year Drew McIntyre wins the Rumble, Aleister Black was supposed to be the other runner-up. And it was supposed to be him or Aleister Black. And Heyman was pitching for Aleister Black.
Yeah, the COVID year, because that's always sets him off, and he's like, well, I'm away. Bye.
Well, imagine where Aleister, and this is what I worry about now with his, not Drew McIntyre, what the hell's the guy's name? Damian Priest. His Damian Priest feud is that he's going to get buried again. And here's a guy who should be a main eventer and a world champion in the next year or two, and he's going to get buried again. I'm worried they're going to do the same crap to him, and they're going to bury him again. He should have won the Rumble that year, and he would have been a megastar. The first entrance when he came back, or when he debuted in NXT, and he first came out, I remember watching that, and like, this guy's a pure star.
Hey, Billy. Absolutely. So here's an example of what we've done so far. So we use, like, because we do for all our pay-per-views, we do, I mean, to be fair, this is true. I said this the day they signed. I said the day they signed, the Machine Guns would get bit. The minute, when I heard the Machine Guns were leaving TNA, and I was like, if they go to AEW, they're fine. Not as a pure bias, but if they go to AEW, they're fine. They're more focused on tag team wrestling. They go to WWE, where do they fit in? Because it just doesn't make any sense. And I was like, they'll go to WWE, they'll win the tag titles, and after that, they'll just fade. and they have, and I'm like, I've always said I hate being proven wrong on certain things, and I've wanted to be proven wrong on the machine guns because I'm a big machine guns fan. So like that stung, and Abu obviously and Billy in the same group chat as me. They'll know like I did not want to say that.
Well, I would say to that, I would say you're right about this. Will they be treated better as a tag team in AEW? 100%, because AEW needed them. AEW needed them more than WWE needed them.
Massive. I agree.
That point alone, yes. Here's the thing. I think they signed there because, was it Shelley? They're both looking at the next stage of their career, being trainers and producers. So it made much more sense for them to do that. Yeah. But I don't think that they have. I mean, they still have great matches left in them, but I think they're viewing it as they're winding down, and this was just a great spot for them.
Yeah.
And you know what I often wonder too is last week we had Brian Kendrick on the show. And
that was a great conversation. That was a great conversation. Hey, to answer this question, Bleach, well, Adam Page is a teacher. He's also a teacher, so that's why. But yeah, you had Brian on last week. It was really good.
He's an awesome dude. What's interesting is I didn't get to ask him, but I thought it would have been interesting to see, like, when London and Kendrick were in WWE, that, to me, is what Motor City Machine Guns would have been in WWE under Vince McMahon. Now, I wonder, and he said, he doesn't really watch the product anymore, so he really...
I don't blame him. Blame him.
But I'm just, like, under Triple H's booking, right? Like, how would London and Kendrick have been booked instead, right? Like, maybe similarly to the Guns, but think about this. Consider the fact that London and Kendrick were in the prime of their career when they were in WWE. And whereas MCMG, you could say it's past their prime. They still have great matches, not dismissing them, but by any means. But you could say London and Kendrick were younger, more athletically in their prime at that point in time in WWE. So it would have been interesting to see, like Triple H booking London and Kendrick in 2000, early whatever, 08, 09, or having Machine Guns in their prime, like prime TNA Machine Guns in WWE under Triple H's booking, how that would have gone.
I think it's a question to ask for sure. I mean, when I look at it in general, but then people would argue, well, he had a tag team similar to that in terms of a mixture of high-flying technical style and he's not done anything with them, and that's DIY. So people would say, well, technically he had a Machine Guns equivalent in DIY, and look what he's done to them. So I think it's an interesting one. I think it's certainly a topic of discussion to certainly have. I think people would maybe say, well, he technically had that, and he didn't. I don't know.
I would say DIYs later in their career too. Like even Gargano in his 30s too. Like Ciampa looks old as hell. I don't know how old he looks old as hell.
Ciampa's well into his 40s, I think. It's crazy. Yeah. He was in the main roster 20 years ago as a guy working for Muhammad Hassan.
You know what the closest thing would have been to me that I could think of is when they had, was it Evan Bourne and
Evan Bourne had Kofi Kingston for a while.
Yeah, I was thinking about that. There was another one. There was Evan Bourne and was he with like Justin Gabriel or like?
Yeah, Gabriel. He was part of Air. You had Air Boom, which obviously was Bourne in Kingston.
Yeah, and
there was another one there, but he was with Gabriel for Britain. There was someone else that he was with. I can't remember who.
I think the guy wore black tights too, because Gabriel wore long black pants, and then that's why I'm thinking maybe I'm just thinking about Gabriel too. But like, there was someone else I thought.
Yeah, he's certainly a lot more relaxed now. Like, well, Matt Sydal, obviously, like as you'll know him as Evan Bourne, but like, I can see if I can't remember who else he had, but I can certainly find out.
Maybe it is just Gabriel that I'm thinking about.
Yeah, he's another one that's incredibly underrated. Like he doesn't get a lot of his flowers, I think, which is quite annoying.
Are you talking Gabriel or Bourne?
Bourne. I like Gabriel, to be fair. I thought he was the best out of the first NXT clown crowd. Like I only liked Wade Barrett and Matt Sydal, Justin Gabriel. I didn't like anyone else from that group. Like, it just really annoyed me. I think you're right though, Abel. It's just Gabriel, and I can't see it, but I'm having a quick look just now.
It may be April, but like there was a couple like random teams that they had together like that, and they just didn't know how to really book them. I mean, Vince McMahon booking, so you're not over 6 feet.
Exactly. Let's see. Is there any there? Feud with Jack Swagger, Air Boom. Let's see. It was mostly just that, like just teaming up with Kofi Kingston.
Hey, we're probably not going to talk about this tonight since we're doing a lot of WWE stuff. So I'm going to throw this out there. What do you think of the whole MJF? I think it's right.
The MJF with the Hurt Syndicate.
Yeah, like I watched and I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, they're already pissed off. No, it's like it made no sense. It seems like that, and maybe just because SummerSlam's next week, that and like the Hangman Mox match is just completely rushed for this upcoming Wednesday to try and put something on TV.
It is possible. I know a lot of people are trying to figure out who this world champion is that they're signed from AEW who's going to be at SummerSlam. I still got a weird feeling it's either Danhausen or Wardlow. But it could end up being crazy. Like, what if it is Hook?
Oh, wait. That's news to me. When did that?
There was a report that came out recently that WWE have signed a former AEW champion. It doesn't say title specific. It just says AEW champion. And they're going to be unveiled at SummerSlam. I've said it could potentially be Danhausen or Wardlow. But it could potentially be a crazy one. Like, it could be Hook. It could be Saraya from the women's side, but that's already been debunked because WWE have actually confirmed they don't want to re-sign Saraya. If it's Britt Baker, Billy, then fair enough. I'm not bothered.
Yeah, but Tony just came out and said, like, you know, she's with, like he's gonna try and hold her to it a little bit.
Yeah,
because he could also as bad as he has been booking, especially with the women's division, he could throw her in just a standalone match with whoever, Tony, you know, whoever the new world champion is. If Athena wins the world belt, like, you could just put her right in a standalone match. So, like, that's where her value, like, that's why releasing Phoenix and like holding Phoenix made no sense, because it was like, you're not going to throw him in a random match. He's just another hand. But she, I understand holding on to her. Yeah,
there's certainly a lot of that out there, but I think it's just what we see, what we get is absolutely spot on. But we'll find out for sure. I think I'm surprised we're getting the rematch though on TV, but
I think it's a miss.
Yeah.
So soon. It's so soon. Like, you just had a death match. Like, then what the? How do you top it? You can't top a death.
The fact that there's no interference, no one's at ringside, all that might make it more interesting. We might get a random return moment. I don't know. Jericho didn't re-sign, but Jericho's contract does expire at the end of the year, Billy. His contract does expire, I think, around November, December time. I think Jericho, quite frankly, is at the very end of his career. I don't think Jericho's going to do much. Wherever Jericho
goes, giving everyone last runs. So if Jericho signed, dare I say, a 2-year deal, you could have this year's Cena's year, next year his year, and then the year after is Jericho's year.
The crazy thing is, if Jericho had a final year, you know, Jericho would make his final year blow like a global entertainment fest.
Oh yeah.
Because if there's one thing that Jericho does really well, and I know a lot of people don't like Jericho for other reasons, but you can't deny when Jericho locks in, Jericho is really impressive. Like, when he's really focused, like, it's hard to really top Jericho on a promo in a match.
Yeah.
Like, he is one of the greatest for a reason.
And he's one of the hardest working guys in the industry. Nicole and I don't know if you know Nicole, but I know from the show we mentioned, Nicole and I got engaged on the Jericho cruise.
I remember you saying that. Yeah, I remember you saying that.
And that guy was at everything. And when people were showing videos to me like the next day at breakfast, and like we were out at 3 a.m. at the bar, and it's him doing karaoke with John Moxley and whoever. And it's like, dude, and then he's up the next morning to do meet and greets for 500 people, and he's singing, and he's doing two Fozzy shows later that night. Like the guy just and that was 4 years ago at age whatever he was.
Crazy,
like, it's impressive. So I mean,
he's unique. And the good thing about Jericho is I think Jericho realized he was getting a lot of criticism about the shape he was in, and he's now hit the Styles Orton Kool-Aid, and he's now absolutely ripped.
Yeah,
like absolutely crazy ripped, and he looks in good shape. And I'm like, if that's the Jericho comes back to AEW, that's an important main eventer right there that they actually need. Because I think right now you can use Jericho as a babyface, like in that way. But I think personally, I don't want him to come back as a babyface. I want him to come back like he was in 08. I want him to come back in the suits where he talked people down like he was Nick Bockwinkel. I want him to wrestle as the Painmaker. I want him to be complete dual split. I'm going to talk to you like I'm a dick, and I'm going to wrestle you like I want to break your neck. Like I want that from Jericho.
When he comes back, he'll be a whole other iteration of character. I don't think he gets nostalgia. I think he's always reinvented himself, so it's just another version of Chris Jericho.
As long as it's not the learning tree, I'm happy.
That's all done. So we'll see. Reece, I got my phone's overheating, but
keep it cooled down. When you're live, I will join you.
Yeah, there may or may not be a new intro for someone coming, so we'll see. But Jack, thanks for welcoming me in. Catch you all later.
That's my guy across the pond. Good to see you, my man. He's an absolute top tier guy. He's really nice. Oh yeah, Judas is an absolute perfect choice for a wrestling pay-per-view. Like I remember the first time it was on pay-per-view, and I'm like, this works. Really, really good. They don't like Jericho because one, they feel like Jericho's constantly reinventing himself, but he's past his prime. The whole thing with that woman as well, like all sorts of stuff with Jericho is wild. Rematches are, to some, I don't know why it's a negative. For me, I love a rematch. How they pull it off is important as well. We'll see where it goes, but no, I've not heard of them. Not heard of them, and I'm good anyway. Too many channels to listen to or watch is not exactly a great thing for me either, because I'll lose focus. Who kept getting the belt? Jericho. If you look at Jericho's timing in between his championship runs, Jericho actually does get a break in between his title runs. He's not a rush champion. Like, I don't get that. If that's what you mean, if you mean that by Jericho, that makes no sense. Like, look how long Jericho went in between his title reigns. The only time where Jericho was a consistent champion was when he went from his WCW Cruiserweight run up until his last Intercontinental title run in 2004. Jericho for 6 years straight was a crazy champion. Like, crazy champion. And then he didn't win a title for 4 years. And then he held a couple all the way through 08 to 2010. Then he didn't hold a title belt for another 6 years. It's not tone deaf at all. If you look at it, Jericho doesn't actually have... I think Jericho's actually one of the rare few where, yes, maybe he should be having this title and maybe he shouldn't be having that one, but Jericho's one of the rare few where he does not have bad title reigns. I think it just adds more to the mystique around his look when he locks into someone. It's more like that. dark look. To be fair, like, lots of guys do it when they wrestle. It's not a big deal. But yeah, I don't think it's tone deaf at all. Not all fans. But the funny thing is, this is what people fail to realize. See, when Jericho retires, you're gonna realize what the industry loses. Because Jericho's actually one of a rare few that you'll never get again. Like, you'll never get again when Jericho officially retires. And when you figure out what I mean by that, then you'll realize how fucked the wrestling business really is. Ooh, I said fucked, not thriving. I'll put myself on timeout. Of course you can, Billy. Yeah, I'm going to say something on the channel as well right now for the first time that I've never said before. I'm actually going to say something for the first time I've been thinking about quite a lot recently. There's something with Jericho I've not actually said recently. But I'm actually going to say it now for the first time on this channel. And I actually believe it. I actually think for me, my favorite talker in the business behind a desk is Jim Ross. In the ring is The Rock. But I think Jericho is actually far better than The Rock. And that takes a lot for me to say. Like, that takes a lot for me to say. No, my favorite talker in the ring isn't Jericho. The Rock is. But I generally think Jericho is better. I actually think Jericho has a more diverse promo as well. Like, I compared one of Jericho's gimmicks there to Nick Bockwinkel. Now, Billy just talks pish. When I said that he reminds me of Nick Bockwinkel, it's because of the look and how he was talking down people in a serious manner. But if you read between the lines, the way he was toning it, his promos were quite similar to Jake Roberts as well, without the need to go into like the Bible verses, etc. But it was the tone. He was a mixture of all of them combined. I don't think you could ever. I don't think you could ever get around that. Stone Cold, MJF, and Punk would be your top three. I think Jericho is far better than MJF, but MJF is a good promo. In terms of serious promos, Bockwinkel, Jericho, Brett, and Jake Roberts are probably my favorite four. But see, even my whole variety promo, I think Chris Jericho just lands it better than anybody. There's something about Jericho promo that just makes sense, you know, like. Yeah, the whole Punk. I hate when wrestlers do that. Like, insert this place, insert that, insert your mother's anus into that crap. Jim Ross commentary is that. Exactly. That's why Paul Heyman thinks. That's why Paul Heyman thinks he's the greatest talker of all time. Oh, Jericho isn't one of the best insults. Jericho is the best at insulting people. Billy, I'm happy for you to disagree. And I'm a bigger Rock fan than anyone on this planet, but I'm saying it straight and I'm saying it true. I think Jericho is better than him. Oh yeah, Becky should never be in Happy Gilmore 2. Her boring face and her stupid words make it crap. Happy Gilmore 2 is actually a good film though. And yes, he was. He was Zodiac in the film. I don't know why they made a second one of this. It was pointless. Like, it was pointless. But it's a good film. Anyway, let's see if we can find some. Let's see if we can find some news. Is there any news? Cena's overrated. There will never be an era where he is overrated. Oh, no surprise. WWE is looking to honor Hulk Hogan heavily on SmackDown tonight. Chenna is shite. I love you, Zodiac. That is absolutely funny. You're missing a few, Bleach. You're missing a few. Wyatt Six versus Andrade and Rey Fenix tonight for the tag titles. Jelly Belly and Jelly Bean and Randy Orton have a segment with McIntyre and Logan Scumball. Alexa Bliss and Roxanne Perez, okay. Pin Balor's 44. Cool, he's been pinned more. Obviously, we're going to talk about this, so that doesn't really matter. He's not even on Austin's level of star power, I'm sorry. People are going to hate that, but it's true. Now, we call him Jelly Bean. I know Abel's not going to like this, but I know I quoted this the other day about Stephanie Vaquer. She's going to get heavy repackaged and all that stuff. That makes no sense. There's talks that Jim Uso is going to get moved to Raw. Oh, God. I've seen Hogan matches in Japan, yeah. I've watched his Inoki matches, his Vader matches, Dr. Death Steve Williams. Quite a few there. Bianca Belair, here's some news for Bianca Belair fans. Broken finger, she's after WrestleMania 41. I'm now healed, but one finger still won't bend. Well, I'm sure you can figure that out. Yep, sadly, that's what they're looking at. Jelly Roll Jelly Bean shares that he will weigh under 300 pounds for the first time since middle school for his debut at SummerSlam. Fat cunt. Yep, Goldberg sustained a broken hand against Gunther. What else have we got? Obviously, at the moment they say this, but there's no indication The Rock will return soon, but yeah. His ass found it. Tiffany Stratton says she's proof that the Performance Center works. Clearly not, because you still botch people. I saw you moaned about that. I burst out laughing. The Gabe Spitzer thing about Netflix makes... That's honestly so weird, but I'll say it for everybody because I don't get this. I feel like this is a bad thing. Bianca Belair still being a babyface is why Bianca Belair is at a crossroads. And I am not a bully, thank you. But yeah. Naomi has a better character than Bianca. But Bianca's a better wrestler. Bianca, if she turns heel, then her character's already at the top. Because it's not a babyface character. I've explained this hundreds of times. I've explained that so many times. Why her gimmick is a heel gimmick. And I'll say it quick and simple. I'll say it again very quickly for you, mate. You've probably not been here when I've said it, but I'll do it now, no problem. The reason why I believe the EST gimmick is if you go into a... Now, I absolutely understand there's people who believe that they are the best at everything, right? Little cocky nature. Understandable, right? But if you go into a promo, a match, or a program with someone and you're saying you are the quickest, the fastest, the strongest, the best, all that nonsense, right? And the way you're saying it, it doesn't sound like confidence. It sounds like extreme arrogance in the way you're putting down everyone around you. That's not a babyface gimmick to me. Though, if she was saying it like, when I'm in this ring, I believe and I know in my heart that I am the fastest, the strongest, the quickest, the best, all of that. That's being a babyface. If you go into a promo and then you've got, say, Charlotte Flair in front of you, who's an absolute ding dong anyway, there's one for you, Billy, and you're saying it to her face with a little bit of a snigger and a little bit of a joke in your eye where you go, I'm the fastest, the strongest, the quickest, the best, all of that. That's not being a babyface. Not in my eyes. Can it be presented as a babyface gimmick? Yes. But they are deliberately having her cut promos that don't establish as a babyface gimmick in my eye. The way they present it, to me, has always come across as heel. That's why I think of it as a heel gimmick. And it's annoying because the EST gimmick, when she started, was as a heel. When Bianca Belair first came to NXT and she called herself the EST then, she was a heel and it made sense. It was only the crowd reactions is why she turned babyface. I'm not saying Charlotte is the babyface. I just used that bitch as an example. No, Charlotte's in the wrong place. Charlotte in the right place is Charlotte being told you're done, leave. top tip, Charlotte, Becky Lynch, when she retains the title at SummerSlam, a lot of tears are going to be all over the timeline. And they won't be mine because I honestly don't care anymore about that division, because that division's been ruined. But yes, this was in Variety. This was an interview with Variety, and it was the Vice President of Sports at Netflix, Gabe Spitzer. He's the Vice President of Sports, so he's the Vice President of Sports at Netflix. And he says that WWE on Netflix is everything that they could have hoped for in mind. It's everything we could hope for and more. We knew going in that we're not going to change WWE. It was more, how can we add to it in small ways? And that's what we've seen so far. Well, you haven't added to it in small ways. You've added so much advertising that people don't like it. You have not allowed talent to grow in terms of the time they're given. Instead, they are working to such a stupid schedule that it doesn't actually benefit anybody. You've relied on the same creative that is continuously dropping the ball. And there's no new talent. It's the same shit every week. So they aren't adding small things. They aren't changing. No, they are making changes. If they want to make a real change, then we'll see. But as far as I'm concerned, if they're not going to change WWE, then WWE can't get better. Netflix need to have some sort of involvement where it can be better. Because the show quality and the product says different. Plain and simple. The whole Travis Scott thing is funny because he had a falling out with WWE, which is actually really funny. He's actually been removed from the video game because of his falling out. No, she's the EST for everybody. Like, her whole gimmick doesn't change because she's up against someone else. Like, she is that all the time. It's just not as exciting. Like, I think it's hurting her a little bit. I actually think it hurts her a little bit. Let's see. Crazy. This is serial glazing now. Like this is serial. Like, this is actually becoming a serial glazing joke now. I'm actually glad that I don't pay attention to this guy anymore. That is true. I don't disagree with that. As far as it goes with WWE, I believe Travis Scott is gone. Yes, he had a falling out with them. They kicked him out of his video game as well. Like, he's out of the 2K video game. Yeah. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. I might do it, just this one solo. Oh. Naito's in Wolverhampton. I'm just going to casually tweet that and then leave it be. That Naito is in the UK. Because Rhea Ripley doesn't have a title shot, whereas Stephanie Vaquer does. He's in Wolverhampton, mate. He was at a show. Yeah, Julia's fucked. Not a lot of news there. Wow. Indy Hartwell versus Tessa Blanchard got 1.25 stars. I'm good. Not gonna. Vaquer is, though. she's got the title shot for Clash in Paris, which is after SummerSlam. So that's what she's doing. I'm just seeing if I can find any more news, then I'm bouncing on. Oh, what's this? Just seeing what else we've got. Is there anything else of note? Don't think so. Nothing there. Oh yeah, this actually. I saw this earlier and I found it quite strange. We never fell out. I just don't like the lack of appreciation. That's all. Sorry, but this might sound arrogant, but he doesn't get 120 subscribers without my help. Fucking, you can clip that and send it to him. I don't care. But like, I had to physically go and say you're welcome on a YouTube short he posted. Like, he did say thank you, but he never came to me and said thank you for the support, thank you for the help. Like, where's my thanks? No, I'm not a draw. I'm just somebody that actually helped and then fucking regret doing it. Well, Vakur has to go after. The funny thing, Vakur can't choose her opponent. You've got to go for the title that's on your brand. So Vakur goes for the world title. But yeah, this. I'm actually I think she's not in the chat right now, but if she does actually, has she been in the chat tonight? Let me have a look. There's a lot of legends, and a lot of legends have been asked to appear on SmackDown tonight, folks. Just to let you know. No, Catherine's not been in the chat tonight. I'm not sure. I hope so. I know she's been doing a lot on her TikTok, etc. I'm going to see if I can get her back for SummerSlam. To be fair, I've been so focused on here that I just haven't done a lot, and that's mostly my fault. But she's still part of this channel. It's not like she's still a major part of this channel. Always will be. See if I can get back on run for SummerSlam and beyond. How is she? Like, the rules of the Battle Royal was you get like your title. Actually, hold on a minute. Hold on. Wait a minute. What am I looking for? Oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for. 2 seconds, actually. It just says World Championship match at Clash in Paris. It doesn't actually say. It doesn't actually say if it's Raw or Smack. Oh, never mind. It's the Io Sky will face Stephanie Vaquer at Clash in Paris. Never mind. They confirmed it on Raw that it's for the Women's World title, not the Women's title on SmackDown. It got confirmed it's Raw. Because she won it. I think what they're saying. The hell? I think what they've said is whoever won it, it would be for that brand's championship. So because Vaquer won it as a Raw talent, it'll be a Raw championship. Something's going wrong with YouTube. Kinda. There's nothing wrong with Vaquer winning, but I don't think Vaquer will win it first hand. She'll lose it soon. There we go. It's back to normal. There was something wrong there with YouTube. It went from good condition to be very poor, which is weird. Looks like it was an issue with YouTube server, not mine, so we're safe. But yeah, that's that. Last bit of news before we move on to the actual review itself, and I want to see what people think about this because it's interesting. Well, not for me because I don't pay attention to this, but it's what they've said. This is from Cultaholic. They've posted this, so take of this what you will. But they've said multiple women are planned to quit pro wrestling due to the amount of money they make on OnlyFans or Only Scams. One person pro wrestling noted that a path will become more common as female wrestlers will build a fan base within pro wrestling and launch an Only Scams. Cora Jade reportedly told people within pro wrestling that she made more money on Only Scams than any wrestler made in the last month, but she's using mental break as a reason why she's walked away from wrestling for the rest of 2025. Sure. Everything wrong with Vaquer even being there. It discredits her credibility as a new star. She isn't going after the best what we have today. So who exactly do you want her to go after? Because Rhea Ripley is not the best right now. Rhea Ripley is actually regressing. Tiffany Stratton isn't even the best woman to represent as a champion in WWE. And she's lucky to be champion. Quite frankly, Stephanie Vaquer hasn't even had a match with somebody who's actually as good as, say, a Chelsea Green. Like, if it was an Asuka, then fair enough. Even though Asuka's not what she used to be, Asuka's still the best they have. Io Sky is still one of the best they have. But who are you going to put Stephanie Vaquer up against in WWE? Her in-ring is going backwards, Billy. She's actually been making a lot of mistakes recently, which I've actually tried to ignore. Like, I've really tried to ignore, but I can't anymore, which is really annoying, actually. But that is a painful reality. But yeah, I was going to do this one solo tonight regardless. I'm not being harsh at all. If anything, I'm actually being very fair. I could have said much worse. I'm not going to. 2 seconds. Alright, never mind. The Night 2 card for SummerSlam's actually confirmed now. Five matches on SummerSlam Night 2. The Women's World Title Triple Threat, the Women's Intercontinental Title, the Men's US Title, the Undisputed Title, and the Men's Intercontinental Title are all on Night 2. I don't think Asuka will ever be a main eventer again, mate, honestly. Like, I think we're at that point now where Asuka is just going to be there to put people over, which is really annoying. Because half that roster on Raw can't even keep up with Asuka anyway. Have we got the night? Yeah, there's the Night 1 card. 2, 3, yeah, 6 matches on Night 1. I think we're going to get 6 matches Night 1 and Night 2. So we've got Raquel and Perez versus Bliss and Flair for the tag titles. Gunther versus Punk world title. Randy Orton and Jelly Bean versus McIntyre and Logan Paul. Boredom Reigns and his idiotic cousin versus Breakker and Reed. Then you've got Stratton versus Cargill, and then you've got Sami Zayn versus Karrion Kross. Truth be told, that Night 1 card looks absolutely pathetic. You want to say it nicely? That Night 1 looks like somebody's took a shit and just went, here you go. But Cross versus Zayn was literally announced just 5 minutes ago. And remember, Karrion Kross's contract expires in less than a month's time. Why is WrestleMania trending right? Oh, see if it's because of... Yeah. Crazy. Okay. We're over an hour and a half in, and it's really time to start doing this review. Otherwise, we're going to miss the whole thing, and that's not a good idea. So, let's do this. And Billy, to answer your question about earlier on, I think he holds the title to Bound for Glory now. I don't think he drops it anywhere else. So, yeah. I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know much about Jada Parker. I don't know a lot about her because to think that was a full bottle of Pepsi Max. Ugh. Right. Yeah, but to answer the question, I don't know much about Jada Parker because I barely watch NXT, so I don't know. But if it works for you guys in terms of it makes sense, then lovely. That makes fair enough. I just don't know a lot about her. Soz. Obviously, this is Slammiversary Fallout show for Impact. This is Impact Live. Tom Hannafan obviously welcomes everybody to TNA. Obviously, there is a short tribute for Hogan. Show kicks off with Santino Marella, who has a few moments himself. He talks about Slammiversary. He says it was a monumental show in terms of the success of the crowd, size of the crowd, obviously the impact for TNA and what that holds. But then obviously he gets straight down to business, which really matters. He talks about the two main world championships now with NXT talent, which is a bloody disgrace anyway, but we'll get to that in a minute. The conversation he has is there's a path to getting the titles back and maybe taking some of NXT's gold. Let's even the score a little bit. It's clear now they're building up now to a Bound for Glory type story where TNA are going to go on the full offensive. Now, close to each other, I'm going to need to. I don't think it's going to have a lot of impact, but there is something that may add up to the end of the year. So I'm just looking for the moment. Yeah. Oh wait, that's me going. Oh wait, hold on. Yeah. So you've got WWE has Clash in Paris in August, and then there's no pay-per-view for all of September. Then you got Crown Jewel in October, just before Bound for Glory. And then in November, you've got Survivor Series. But I'm not expecting there to be an involvement. I'm not expecting a TNA involvement towards the end of that at all. I don't. And I'll continue to stand firm on that. Anyway, what am I looking for? There's something I'm looking for. Hold on. Yeah. Heat Wave is in August. A week before. Yeah, Heat Wave is a week before. And that goes obviously head to head with Forbidden Door. Crown Jewel in Perth. That's in October. Yeah. I mean, at least I'll watch that one because it's not in Saudi, so I'll watch this one. Yeah. There's people that are thinking there's going to be a TNA involvement in Survivor Series. I don't. I think that needs to stop. Like, that has to stop. It's not going to happen. But I think the fact that Heatwave is around is before that, we might have some sort of involvement, like TNA talent at Heatwave competing. We'll see. I'm not sure. Like, I'm eager to find out, obviously, but we'll find out. Also, during this situation, Santino Marella confirms he will be in action on Tuesday night. He will be wrestling Ethan Page, as he calls him. Santino Marella will be challenging for the North American Championship that obviously has now been redubbed the Canadian North American Championship. What's up, Fletch? Masha Slamovich makes her way to the ring. She calls out Jacy Jane for stealing her title, which is technically true. I mean, both championships were won by stupid decisions. Well, one was retained, one was won at Slammiversary for stupid decisions, but weren't clean victories for the champions. We get a straight rematch for next week. Next week's Impact, Santino Marella confirmed we will have Masha Slamovich versus Jacy Jane for the Knockouts World title. I think that's going to end in either a cheeky roll-up win for Jacy or it's going to be a DQ finish. I don't think Masha's getting that title back, if I'm being honest. Alicia Edwards comes out to the ring. She fist bumps Masha Slamovich. And then, obviously, well, we use her real name. Talking Chipmunk gives a fist bump to Masha, and then the System gets into the ring. They join Santino, and the System are now fully fledged babyfaces. Yeah, it does. I agree. Eddie Edwards confirms that Dark State were sent packing to NXT. Well, we know that's not true. Edwards says he'll be damned if he lets outsiders come back to their house and try to take over. I mean, North America pretty much borders Canada, similar to like Mexico's North America as well. I don't know how they'll just present it that way. Their geography is funny. Johnny Dangle Curtis, JDC, says the System will be the TNA's soldiers if they go to war. Moose, for the first time in a long time, actually does something genuine. He puts over Leon Slater's youngest champion. He now sets his sights on the world title. And to repeat a little phrase, he's going to whoop that trick. To which point, the Muppet himself, Trick Williams, appears with First Class. He calls Moose stupid because Moose obviously is demanding a title shot, even though Moose failed to win at Slammiversary. Again, this Trick NA bollocks appears and refuses to put his title on the line, and we move on. Order 4. This is absolutely funny. Mustafa Ali tells Trick not to call him out again. He'll bury his ass like his name is The Undertaker, which is absolutely funny. Then a brawl breaks out between the System and Order 4. And we cut to commercial break. Again, this was strange. And whilst you've got commercial, if you're watching this on the TNA Plus app, you can actually see them all exiting the ring after they brawl, so they don't even brawl during the commercial break. They just get up and leave. Matt Cardona reappears as well. He asks to join forces with the system. Santino Marella tells him all to stop fighting. And then he pairs Brian Myers with Matt Cardona. So always ready, Mr. 3000 is definitely going to have quite an interesting one. I got to brush up my geography. TNA was a 2-matcher for you. Which one's, bud? TNA had a lot of heavy promos. There wasn't a lot of matches on this card. But there was so many promos. Like, obviously the main event was intriguing, but that says it all. First match of this show is the Elegance brand up against the Inspiration and a mystery tag team partner. This mystery tag team partner is the former Jakara Jackson, renamed Mara Sade. Again, a much better name than Jakara Jackson. So fair play. I actually think this match was okay. I don't think it wasn't great in the sense of like it was like great in terms of like who's involved, but it just wasn't great because it's their first match all of them together as a triple tag, and I just don't think it actually benefits them. Yeah, I agree with that. That's fair to say. I think the chemistry wasn't there, but I think Mara Sade seems to fit in well with the Inspiration, though. But I think we still need to see how they do if they repeat this match. I think they have to go again to get a true litmus test, if you will. But fair play. I'm consistent, obviously. I didn't think much of Jakara Jackson when she was in NXT, but she did get cut. She's now in TNA. I want to see how she fares. I'm going to give her a chance. I want to see her get a lot of time on Explosion. I think she needs to be on Explosion a lot. She needs to improve her working style. She needs to get more experience working with a more established roster, not a development roster. And we need to see what she can bring to the table. Is she going to be a powerhouse? Is she going to be a brawler? Like, I want to see what she brings to the table. And I'm being honest here. I know not too long ago I said that she should just go back to Hooters, but I said that as tongue in cheek. I say this with honesty. I want to see her really work on her craft. Otherwise, I'm not going to give a fuck. It's the right move anyway. They did that. There was a Hurricane Rana into the Swanton Bomb by Elegance, but it did not get the result, which I quite enjoyed. And then to win the match, obviously, it was the Idolizer finish by the Inspiration that gets the win. Backstage, there's a conversation between Gabby and Mike Santana, but he just does not care. Gabby walks over to Indy Hartwell, who had a 1.25 star rated match against Tessa Blanchard, which I found crazy. She gets her thoughts on Tessa Blanchard's action at its anniversary, which does not matter because Victoria Crawford appears, tries to form an alliance, doesn't work. Dani Luna appears, and then Crawford bolts. Backstage, there's a promo from Northern Armory and Eric Young. He makes a claim that Joe Hendry doesn't want to get things right after his lost anniversary, and he should put TNA back in its place by cleansing the roster of the NXT outsiders. Possibly. We'll see what she does. Like, I'm eager to find out. Like, I don't wish her to fail. But I don't want her to use TNA as a, oh, this is now you getting back into WWE as a stepping stone, you know? Like, I feel like that would piss me off. He may not be the face that runs the place, but he is the new star attraction, main attraction of the X division. He is the champion himself, the pride of the division right now, in my opinion, is Leon Slater. And I love the fact that what he's got in his hands is beautiful. He actually has something that's close to my heart. He brings back the classic design, obviously, like of the X Division title. See you later, guy. He puts over Moose, saying for his title, obviously, his title reign, he puts that over, mark of respect, and then fanboys over his Styles. He was ready to fly when his music hit. He calls himself he is the record breaker, he is the moment breaker. And he wants to bring the title back to legends such as Alex Shelley, Christopher Daniels, AJ Styles, Samoa Joe, Chris Sabin, Amazing Red, and he wants to make his reign special. And then he asks the TNA World Tag Team Champions to join him. Out come the Hardys. They thank the fans, of course, for keeping the Hardy train going, which is a good moment. And then out comes, my opinion, the most important champion in TNA right now, the international champion, Steve Macklin, and he says they're all prepared to go to war against NXT. They're prepared to fight because they're not outsiders. They are TNA through and through, and they're ready to go. No disqualification match up next from a commercial break. It's Mance Warner versus Jake Something. Jake Something would get the win with a black hole slam. If it was non-title and it was just on an indie show for fun, I would watch that. I would. Sadly, there is a time, like, the one thing about this match that detracts it is there's time constraints, which is a bit stupid. They need to stop with the NXT recaps. Like, I'm sorry, this is a TNA show, this is not NXT. Stop the recaps so we can get more time for the actual show, because it hurts the product. But from what we got, the suplex on the stacked chairs was crazy, and I just liked the black hole slam. I think Jake Something is going to challenge for the international title at Bound for Glory. Following the stupid recap, we get a promo from JC Jane with Fail Influence. Both titles on her shoulder. She calls it the Knockouts division. She mocks the likes of Tessa and Zaya Blanchard. We're clearly going in the steam where it's going to be at Bound for Glory. It is going to be, the tagline is going to be reclaiming what's lost. Yeah, it went quite a while. It did go quite a while. I did like this one, the Good Hands versus the Major Bros in terms of tag match, but the main factor was obviously Bill Collier returning for the first time. He hits a massive choke slam. This was just a filler. It was not really anything special, but Mustafa Ali just catches it. Main event, Joe Hendry versus Mike Santana. Santana wins this one. Right call. He wins with the roll-up. We get the odd mark of respect. Yeah. I don't want them to... This might sound cold, but I do not want to see Mike Santana showing respect to Joe Hendry. I don't want to see Joe Hendry showing respect to Mike Santana for one reason. Both men failed the objective. You were there to win the world championship and you failed. You failed. Don't show respect. Both of you should be fighting for the right to go for the title. Yeah, Bill Collier is the big guy who did the choke slam on Cardona. He's one of like the big order 4 henchmen. He was part of the AEW does classic stuff. You know, when they go back and do like classic characters, he was part of that. What's up, Glenn? Exactly, no respect. We shouldn't be showing respect here. You failed the objective. Don't show respect. Hurt each other to get this title back. Motivate yourself. But we know who's going to take the title shot at Bound for Glory. It's going to be Mike Santana. And when Santana regains the title, cool. I want him to make it feel something. Yeah, it would have been an awesome title match. I think they are going to build for. I don't like the fact a lot of people are making the excuse that it means nothing to win the title Slammiversary, but I'm like, I think that's horrible. You've actually now got TNA fans are now dismissing Slammiversary, saying it means nothing to win the title there. Okay then, from now on, I don't want to hear TNA fans talk about these TNA fans in particular. I don't want to hear you talk about Kurt Angle winning the title twice in King of the Mountain, or Raven winning it at King of the Mountain, or how Jeff Jarrett done it, or hell yeah, I don't want you guys talk about Jeff Jarrett doing it. Jeff Jarrett, Raven, Kurt Angle, all those moments. Because if Slammiversary doesn't mean anything to you, even though it's the anniversary show for the company, because all you're obsessed about is winning the title at Bound for Glory, then I don't want to hear you talk about Slammiversary anymore. I don't care. That to me is shallow. That to me is insulting to the company itself. Oh, it means nothing because hold on, we can win a Bound for Glory. Yeah, Bound for Glory is a great event. But you could have had Bound for Glory, Joe Hendry versus Mike Santana for the world title. Was going to be his final major pay-per-view performance. Oh. How hard is that? Not everything has to be at the biggest show of the year. Slammiversary had a record crowd. A high moment would be letting the title go in the best way. I would have I don't think you can you can't have both titles going, but you have one go, one stay. The way they should, yeah, they are trying to give him the Cody Hangman moment, but I get it. They're going to have him win it Bound for Glory. It would have been a lot of special to win at Slammiversary. It just reduces the pay-per-view to nothing, in my opinion. That people are now using it as, well, just doesn't mean anything. I was like, well, it does mean something. If that event means nothing, then just disband the pay-per-view. Because that's what they're basically saying. And I hate that attitude. I hate that attitude. It just insults me as a TNA fan that that's what people think, and I don't know why they would think that. Good show from TNA. Still a ride to go, but I want to see them really go all in heavy now on story. Obviously the matches have to be consistently good too, but I want to see them now invest in a specific story. How is Santana a jobber? Fair enough, you don't like the guy. Fair enough, but how is he a jobber? Yeah, that's the whole thing. So he's using a gimmick that resembles where he comes from. That doesn't make him a. That doesn't sound like a jobber to me. That's not what a jobber is. Like, in the slightest, that's not what a jobber is. I get your point, but he's using where he comes from as his strength. That doesn't make it a. That doesn't make it a jobber, in my opinion. But if that's what you think, fair play. Mate. That's your opinion. That's cool. No issue with that. But I disagree on the magnitude of it. Ring of Honor. Moving on. So we are now opens of a tag match. The Workhorsemen. Jesus Christ. The Outrunners again. This is their show. I'm fine with that. Code of Honor always works. Blah de blah de blah. I think they've found their show. Like, I think this is where their show is now. They're personal. I am looking at it in the long run. I'm looking at it in this way. He's using where he came from to propel himself, but that isn't exactly his gimmick. When I look at Santana right now, yes, is where he comes from, but he's being booked like somebody that I hold a close distinction to. He reminds me of DDP before DDP even won his first singles gold. Like, he's being used like that. Me neither. Like, when I look at Santana, he reminds me of DDP becoming the WCW's People's Champion. Santana is that type of character in TNA. He is the main guy in TNA. And that's what I see. This guy uses his heritage. The last time I checked, that was for one of the greatest gimmicks ever. That's what got LAX over. And those guys were sick. Big body slap and a pin for the win for the Outrunners. Slightly better match up next. Beast Mortal. Yeah, I like it. I like that's his finisher. It's not the finisher. To be honest, it's not even the finisher I actually want him to use though. Cardi B hosting SummerSlam is true. That other chick, I don't understand what she brings to anything. Like, I don't understand her at all. But the last part, obviously, I don't wish that, but it's an unfortunate reality that could happen. Like, it could happen. I hope it doesn't, but yeah. Beast Mortals versus Serpentico. This is fast paced, heavy hitting. This is, out of the 2 nights of wrestling, this is probably the better match. But like, of the matches itself, this was actually very good. Beast Mortals, obviously, he's continuing to rise himself. Serpentico seems to find his feeling. I think he's a Ring of Honor mainstay, personally. I don't think he goes back to AEW at all. But Beast Mortals is going there. The pile driver gets the result. Happy with that. Santana wins the title. Santana will basically just be their DDP. He'll celebrate in the crowds. He'll still come out from the crowds. He's not. Well, I know a lot of people have tried to say he's more like Eddie Guerrero. I don't. But I see what they mean. But he isn't that type of thing. But he embodies the New York, obviously, culture of New York and his Latino culture in one. But to him, it's about the people. Santana's not a pro. He's not the issue. But the whole idea of Cardi B and Sexy Red or whatever she's called, I'm not excited by that. Not excited at all. I don't see what neither of them really like interest me at all. They're skippable. Beast Mortals, obviously, the Lariat Pile Driver combination gets the result. Really fun. Is Beast Mortals going to move back to Ring of Honor? I think he will soon, but right now he is dominating this division. Quite like that. There's a Dark Order promo because, again, fuck this. Don't care. Blake Christian and Lee Johnson versus David Ali and Isaiah Moore. Blake Christian is starting to find his place. He's certainly improving. I don't like his bland gimmick, but he is starting to improve a little bit more. I'm just not sure what the end goal is, but yeah. They do win the match, of course. There's a women's match on the card. Trish Adora versus Aaliyah James. Again, it's good women's content overall. They're starting to they need to have more than one women's match on Ring of Honor, though. I want 2 matches because there's a lot of good talent there, and if you're just limiting it to one match, it's not helping. She obviously would knock her out with a big right hand, and that gets her the win. But again, that's my only criticism: is only one match. No, that Dark Order segment could have been replaced for another women's match. You've got a lot of good technical wrestlers there. Go for it. Like, that's my enjoyment. I take it Crime Time is the reason the world went, wow. Damn. Vince has his reasons for a lot of people. But I kind of see what you mean. But the reality is you need to see what you can see. And I'm happy with what I'm getting from Santana. There's another backstage promo. It's the Premier Athletes. They're not really Premier, but hey ho. They're still mad at Sons of Anarchy for for what they did to Mark Sterling, but who cares about Mark Sterling? So keep the streets out with WWE, period. Okay, but then I got a question for you. Does that not feel like you're taking away representation from people? Sterling is trash. I agree. Like, he is absolutely terrible. But I'm being honest. If you take away the streets, you could do it better, perhaps. But if you take the streets away, do you take away representation? This is me just being asking. I'm just asking an honest question. This is not an attempt at a gotcha or anything like that. I'm just asking an honest question. Does that feel like representation is being lost? Because people obviously have the streets close to their heart for different reasons. The funny thing is look at Eddie Guerrero. You leave this, so you say about leaving the streets and all that. He still kept the streets close to his heart when he was WWE champion. I think I'm starting to see what you mean though. But if your aim is to represent everybody, why would you stop? Why would you all of a sudden just drop that aspect, you know? If you want to be a champion of the people for the people, why let that part go? I see what you mean, and I understand what you mean. I'm just, if you dismiss one part, then you're not for everybody. Santana having the streets with him as part of his gimmick doesn't hurt him. It doesn't damage him. It actually makes him believable as a babyface. This is what I had to overcome. That culture's been in, but this is what you're missing now. That's been a part of wrestling for decades. The fact of overcoming your toxic environment should not be shown to the audience. The people don't need to see you being that real. I think, yeah, like I understand it. Like I understand it, but that's been around for such a long time as a part of wrestling that they'll never get rid of. It's everywhere. Like that's actually an unfortunate reality. That's everywhere. I don't think you'll ever not see that disappear, you know? That's just my opinion, of course. I think there's some parts that you could keep away from it. And then there's some things that sadly will be included regardless. I don't agree with it. But it's just the manner of it's how they go about it that's the difference. Like, that's my only thing is how they do it. But we'll see. The main event, proving ground match for the TV championship is Nick Wayne versus Gringo Loco. If Loco wins, obviously he gets a title shot against Nick Wayne. Obviously, Nick Wayne wrestling on Ring of Honor for the first time since the end of the patriarchy, now the matriarchy. I'm starting to get an odd thing about Kip Sabian. I mean, I like Kip Sabian, but I'm starting to get a weird thing about him. It seems to me that Kip Sabian, whatever Mother Wayne wears, Kip Sabian is going to wear something similar, and it's going to be the exact same approach. If you can see her cleavage, he is going to have as many buttons down so you can see his. And that's been doing a lot. Like, that's been happening a lot. I mean, that pretty much is what they do. To many, Darius, including some people that were in this chat earlier on, Eddie Guerrero isn't even in the top 10 of wrestling, which is just funny. He wasn't in a match. He was just at ringside. He hasn't wrestled in months. He's just now a glorified fucking valet now, which is horseshit. But he is literally now, every time Mother Wayne is on screen and you can see her chest plates, you can see Kip Sabian wearing something similar and he unbuttons his shirt buttons to match. And I'm like, why? Why? Like, I think it's really stupid. But Nick Wayne obviously does well here. I'm going to say Nick Wayne does do well against a bigger opponent. He does a lot of slow holds and technical submissions. Catherine, behave. Like, you behave. Logo hits his very own version of a lethal injection, which is really cool. Gets a 2 count. With time going away, and you actually can see it on the screen, which is really cool. Clock's ticking. He goes for a moonsault, unsuccessful. Wayne gets underneath. And he hits, of all things, to win the match. He uses the kill switch. Obviously, this puts him down. Obviously, that's the end of Gringo Loco's chance at getting a title shot. I like the fact that they added a timer. And if they made it a little bit like a pure division match, even though it's a TV title match, but they're making it blend into one, which I do like. But this was good. I hope they maintain it for next week. In terms of next week's show, I think they need to start adding a little bit more. Like, Nick Wayne needs a story for Ring of Honor. And not just TV title matches. I enjoy TV title matches, but I want to see Nick Wayne have a story as well. I don't know who's going to be, though. A big miss on this show is Lee Moriarty, but he's obviously got a title shot on Collision. He will be challenging very, very soon Dustin Rhodes for the TNT title. I'm expecting interference here from a certain man in pink, but Lee Moriarty is one of the best singles champions right now. He deserves all the praise he gets. Really big fan of him. But we'll see what happens. What's this? Oh yeah, obviously. Big man, of course, today. Seeing Tanahashi get hit with the Oblivion today was so cool. Yeah. Catherine, I agree with what you sent me. I agree with that. I'm getting really sick and tired of some of this shit that's been posted. The amount of fucking glazing. I swear to God. glazed more than a fucking donut. Like, instead of me having to go and say, can you just say thank you for showing your support? Just come into one of my streams and say thank you for helping me. But no, he doesn't fucking do it. I'm actually seeing if he's live right now. Actually, I'm gonna see another. Oh, for fuck's sake! There's another Hogan is dead video. Like Hogan is dead reaction video. For goodness sake! They're all like going crazy for this glazing now. I'm glad I've done mine. I can move past it, but they're all going crazy for this now. Tell you one thing though, the reactions of oh yeah, it is all for views. You're not wrong. What do you mean? I've seen Marky D's put up his reaction video for Slammiversary. He's called it Shove-iversary. I'm going to see if any drones have reacted to this. Let's find out. Pause. Let's have a look at the comments. He's the only TNA fan I actually fucking respect. Bar me, obviously. In terms of like mainstream, it's actually on YouTube. Because there's literally one comment on this video that's absolutely fucking outstanding. Somebody's actually put here as a comment, imagine Kurt Angle or Sting losing the TNA title to a developmental guy from OVW 15 years ago. If that doesn't make people understand how bad TNA has fallen, nothing will. So let's... Oh, and let's have a look at some of these replies. Oh my god. Some random guy said, but Hendry and Santana are not on that level. I mean, they're not on Kurt Angle or Sting's level, but they're still conceived as like the two top guys. But somebody's actually said, don't understand why people think Trick Williams earned a bigger reputation than Santana or Hendry. He's still a rookie in my eyes. Meanwhile, Hendry and especially Santana has proven themselves for years before this. And then the same person replied to this account saying, Trick looks like a star, though. Santana and Hendry do not. Trick Williams will never look or be a star. He's a Make-A-Wish wrestler. I'm sorry, but he is Make-A-Wish. God oh fucking mighty, like people are gonna go so glazed. I mean, I'll say this was a decent episode. Like it was. But I can't take the fucking glazing bollocks. Like, who do you actually want to take it? Trick Williams isn't a star. Like, even in NXT, he's not even a bigger... Like, even in NXT, Ethan Page and... What's his face are bigger? Obafemi. That Javon Evans I don't really watch a lot, but even he seems to be a bigger star than Trick Williams. Mustafa Ali is an absolute star. What's this? And here's another thing. Okay. Trick Williams can't wrestle, as well as Santana. Mic skills, potentially even. The audience, Santana has had that TNA crowd since day one. So you could arguably say potentially even more based to Santana. And theatrics. What theatrics does he have? That's a good choice of word, theatrics. I mean, theatrics is important, but what does he have? Like, I look at it, and all he is. People want to say certain talents are just a theme song or a catchphrase. Trick Williams is literally just whoop that trick and that running knee that he does. Yeah, his level is development, not a main roster world champion. I'm happy to concede that, though. You know what I mean? Hold on. I look at Joe Hendry and LA Knight the same way y'all look at Santana and Trick. Literally anything but a star. LA Knight, if you look at the circumstance, he's meant to be a star, but he isn't. Joe Hendry is a song that has taken the world by storm, but WWE milked that like they wanked him off. I like LA Knight. The guy was, in my opinion, more of a star in TNA than he is in WWE, but he is being reduced to nothing. When they put him in that modeling clown shoes gimmick, that was it for him. He would never go any further. Joe Hendry made himself something. He took himself onto Spotify and all that beyond social media. He went to WWE and they wanked him off that much that now he means fuck all. He had no pop at Slammiversary. He got no reactions on Impact, despite having a decent match with Santana. He means nothing. Esse Rios is fun, but he only wrestled one way. Mike Santana doesn't. He's a variety. Esse Rios was just a flying cruiserweight, an exciting cruiserweight. Santana's not. Totally different. But I do like him. Yeah, I remember when Triple H buried Booker T. It was ridiculous. He then had to become a king with a stupid accent to become world champion. But nobody liked Booker's being champion. In terms of a comedic side, you could say Kofi, but on a serious level of a world champion, Swerve and Ron Killings were better world champions than Booker T. But Booker wasn't a bad world champion by the slightest either. If anything, Booker not winning the world title in TNA was a fumble. No, I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you. I think you're completely spot on. I'm not going to argue with that at all. I'm not going to disagree with you either. I think you're spot on. But that's the part of the wrestling business that's so bloody defeated and ruined, is who is and who isn't a credible world champion. That's why I will never, ever say, if you want a credible world champion, give me Jey Uso, because he isn't. True. But again, this obsession over the streets demographic, like, are you like Damian Priest was world champion and he's literally the streets guy? Like, me personally, I can see representation and I can see an understanding, but I'm not going to just say, oh, we need this all the time. I think it's good to have a representation in some ways, and in some ways we don't need that part, if you know what I mean. Like, there's ways to work around it. Yep. I mean, it was going to be someone else, but he got it. It was going to be Mustafa Ali. Damian Priest looks believable at getting caught in the ropes. I'll give him that. Hmm. I think he's lacking some things as well. Like, I actually think there's a bit of believability that's being lost from Damian Priest. Not, and that's not me knocking him. Oh God Almighty, Catherine! I swear to God, I'm gonna get a hose. Well, I was there. The way he was used in WWE was stupid. He actually had no gimmick. Like, he had physically no gimmick, and then he goes to TNA and he's the Okada gimmick before Okada gets it. The pulp is the Rainmaker, and it's incredible. Oh God, here we go. No, I'm just gonna ask someone to come to your. I'm just gonna find your house, and then I'm just gonna get you to work on it. That thing's always tingling. It's like a freaking time bomb. To be fair, ladies, do what you like. I'm not gonna say you can't do this, you can't do that. I'm happy with it. It's funny. But here's one actually. Maven's actually done a new video on his channel. Oh, it is Catherine. Raven's done a new video on his channel, and it's called "Being a WWE Wrestler Sucks." But I actually find it very. His choice of who he's picked as the wrestler hurts like hell. I like Maven's channel, but look at this. Look at what he's picked. Oh, wrong one. Up here. There. Jeff Hardy after he lost the steel cage match to CM Punk. He has actually. Some of his stuff is crazy funny. He did get the pimp gimmick over, he did, but he did do the reign first, and that inspired Okada. Like, he thanked Maven for giving him, not Maven, I've got Maven on the head now, for his videos. He's got literally D'Angelo De Niro to thank for how he got that gimmick and teaching him how to do it. It's crazy. Like, I admire that a lot. Wait, what am I looking for next? There's something here like YouTube playable games is just embarrassing. Fuck off. Okay, that I actually didn't realize there was a video for that. I asked him why his friendship with Paul London ended, but there's actually a good. It looks like Paul London actually did a video about it. The Pope D'Angelo De Niro is wasted potential. I'm gonna say I stand by it. He was the one that should have beat AJ Styles for the world title, not Rob Van Dam. It was crazy that his gimmick was so good, but then they just ruined it. There was no need. Like they had so much to do there. Jesus Christ, the amount of wrestling videos here right now on my screen for the same topic. He's wearing it again. The Rock's tribute video for Hulk Hogan. He's wearing the New Japan shirt again. Yes, it was on Raw. It was the draft match. Burke versus Batista versus Jeff Hardy. Batista, a real man, a true world champion? Yes, now. Batista was a great world champion, but let's also be real, there was a lot of shit that even he fucked over. To be fair, I didn't mind him at all. I'm eager to see where they, if he'll, I don't think he'll ever return, but it would be good if he does return at some point. It won't happen though. We will do them on the Saturday. We'll do them next Saturday, both nights. Yeah, he never did. Okay, I didn't expect that one. What Culture? I don't watch What Culture, but a video came up for them as recommended. It says the good, the bad, and ugly of Hulk Hogan's WWE career. I mean, I did not watch that at all, and I don't intend to. They're clearly not standing up for that. Oh, they finally uploaded the Boiler Room Brawl match to YouTube. Took them long enough. We can finally get that on our watch along streams, which are back soon. But, ladies and gentlemen, 2 big review shows have been fun. Not going to do a reaction stream tonight. Not reaction, sorry. Q&A or anything like that tonight. Because tomorrow Josiah's back. But I want to say thank you to everyone that's watched. You guys are all awesome. We'll do nights. Well, it's nights 5 and 6 tomorrow for the G1, which we're going to react to. Then we'll do a little bit of rebooking. Sunday, we are going to do a gaming stream for the first time, and it's been quite a while. I've not done a gaming stream in a couple of weeks. 2.5, 3 weeks, I think. I can't remember the last time I did a gaming stream. But we're going to do that. And then the wrestling watch-alongs will return. And then next week, obviously, we've got SummerSlam to do. Hopefully, we get Ailey back for that as well. I'll see if I can find out. So much stuff. So much stuff. But yes, so please do like, share, and subscribe. Please go and check out Nick Teodoro, his channel. He was in here earlier on. Please do. But in the meantime, I bid you all farewell. I bid you all good night. And I shall see you next time. Bye, guys.